Okay, so this is the Eastern Chess Congress tournament, which took place from October 24th to 27th, I want to say. It was that weekend. And it was a 5-round tournament, so we can get started in round one. I had the black pieces here against Benjamin Nunes. And let's see. So we have a Caro Kann, advanced variation. And it's actually a funny story. So I was with a friend who we were trying to guess, what is my opponent going to play? And we didn't have anything other than just the name. And he said, I think he's going to play the advanced variation, E4, the advanced variation of the Caro Kann. And I said, okay, what there? And he said, H4. He'll probably play the H4 line, and then he'll probably, the whatever main move is. But he said, he might play like the Bishop G5 line. And so I actually spent a little bit of time right before this game only looking at this line. Because it was just a very, very lucky guess. So I had prepared Queen B6, which I probably would have played anyway, because that's what's in my file. And then on Bishop D3, there's this line, we can go to the Explore tab, of Queen takes D4 is the way for black to play if black knows what they're doing. Otherwise, you just, take the bishop and play E6, which is probably what I would have done had I not looked at this right before the game. So takes, Knight f3 is the main move, and queen goes to g4. Takes on f5, takes on f5, and c4. So c4, I'm still in book. I remembered that I have to play queen e4 check, bishop e3, and then e6. So this was still preparation, and I had knight bd2. I knew queen goes to d3, and that was the end of where I had, I knew black was a little bit better in that position, and I knew that knight bd2 was the only really, good move. So when queen b3 happened, I knew that there had to be a way to punish this move. I just had to figure out what it was. And so after a little bit of time, any move that allows knight bd2, now there's no queen d3, so that can't be advantage for black. Also, my b7 pawn is hanging, so I need to figure something out. So I end up finding queen takes c4, queen takes b7, and then a very important move, queen b4 check, which trades the queens by force, and so I'm just up a pawn at that point. So this happens in the game, and knight bd2 here. Now I have many ways to continue. I decided to play knight h6. Knight e7 is the other way to play, but there I wanted on a3 to be able to play bishop back to e7, and it's going to f5 either way. I was not really worried about bishop takes h6, just rook takes h6, and the rook will just come back, and now I have dark square bishop. So I was not worried about that. A3, bishop e7, knight goes to b3. I put the knight on f5, bishop d2. Now I get c5, rook c1, knight d7. I considered c4 immediately here, and just like after knight d4, taking it and playing knight or king d7, knight c6. But this felt a little bit more ambitious because now I'm going to be able to get the c5 square for the knight. G3, c4. The knight goes to a1. Here, another reason that knight d7 is very nice is because on knight d4, I'll take it and take on e5. And so that would be very good. So knight a1, knight c5, castles, rook b8, going to sort of pressure this pawn here, and rook c2, defending the pawn. And here I play knight a4. Maybe I should just already castle, and so on knight a4 is a little bit rushed perhaps. Just I should just castle and stack on the b file, and I'm just going to win this pawn. If ever bishop c3, then knight a4 makes some sense. But knight a4 shouldn't throw anything away. Rook b1, and I played bishop takes a3, which I think is rushing. I think this is actually a mistake. So at bishop a3, I actually did see this move b3 that could be played, but on b3, I thought I could there just castle. However, after he played it, I realized that now there's this move rook a2, and that's a skewer on my pieces. So here I sort of, I'm getting a little bit upset with myself because I could have just castled the previous move instead of bishop takes a3, and my position is, I'm fully in control, I'm up a pawn, and now I've sort of, I'm up 2 pawns, but I've lost some control, and now there's this rook a2 threat that I have to deal with. So here, I actually take, and after the game, when I was analyzing, I sort of saw that rook a2 here might be an issue. It doesn't feel like it should work, on first thought. I didn't even consider it in the game, actually, and it seems like my opponent didn't either, otherwise he probably would have played it. But I can't take that because he'll take on b8, take on h8, and bishop b2 is not in time. Knight c2 is just not working out for me. So luckily he takes on b3. I'm very curious though, because I think this move might just be good for white actually at this point. So we'll have to check that one. Rook takes b3, rook takes b3, knight takes b3, knight back to b6, and here I sort of felt like, okay, I'm probably going to lose the a7 pawn, but I still will be one pawn up. I'll get my king out, and like here, knight c4. I was still a little bit worried about like a knight a5 move, but I thought maybe there I could just take it. We'll actually take, yeah, I'll take it and then play bishop c5, and I shouldn't be worse. Probably I'll lose the a7 pawn at some point, but he played instead bishop c1, which allows takes. He throws and takes on e7. It's a little fancy, but it makes sense. Just grab the pawn. I have to castle, otherwise I lose a rook. And now we get this position. Both players have two knights, but I am, again, up this protected past d pawn, so black should be close to winning, if not just clearly winning. Probably clearly winning. I play knight back to h6. It's going to the g4 square. Rook b7, knight g4. And now white is in this fully defensive setup where both knights are defending the pawn and I'm attacking it. And it's not easy to get the king in. So he starts to bring the king over to c3 square, which may be the wrong plan. I play rook a8. Rook to b3, trying to... In the game, I actually thought that if I played rook a3, then there'd be rook b8 checkmating, king h7, knight g5, king up, knight f4, and that might not be... I thought that was mate, actually, but the king does have the f5 square, but no need to complicate things, just g6, king g2, and now rook a3. And the idea is I'm basically just trading off the rooks, and now we have a straight two-knight endgame. Probably more ideal would be just a single knight endgame. I think that would be really nice to just eliminate any counterplay. But, you know, I can't have everything. This should be winning. King f1, knight c4, king, 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 king. He's bringing this king, like I said, over to the queen side, which you would really not... Like, you'd think that you just want to sit on the position, but the problem is nothing can move other than the king. Like, all the pieces are stuck. The king's the only piece that can move, and if he stays over on the king side, my plan is just to come around and then attack the knight. So the king sort of needs to be here, actually, because also the base of my pawn chain is the f7 pawn, defends all the pawns, and as soon as a knight moves away, I'll be able to take on e5, and then even if a knight is on g5 at that point, I'm defending the pawn. So I play f6 here because if I bring my king over, I didn't really see the way to make progress. So I break the structure with f6. This does free up his knights because now there's no weakness on e5, but I do start to get to push my center pawns. So knight h3, e4, knight d to f4, and d4. So I'm just pushing my pawns, getting some play. Knight goes back to g2. I bring this knight to e5, knight e1. I improve the king. And then here is where I spend some time because it's unclear how to actually force the win. I didn't fully see what to do. All the improving moves like knight c4 or like trying to move this knight to bring the king allow some sort of counterplay. So in the end, I see nothing better than just to, there's this tactic, knight takes f2, knight takes f2, e3 check. That's just a trade. It trades off a knight and a pair of pawns. But in the resulting position, this pawn is weak and this pawn is passed. And if he ever tries to win it with the king and knight, then the king pawn endgame will be winning. So I decided that there's nothing better than this. I hadn't worked it totally out, but I saw king e4 in this position, and this just looked very strong because basically I'm going to be able to chase away the king from either the g3 pawn or from this past d pawn. He can't be on both sides at the same time. It would like to be both here and here in various lines. But I can't choose. If king e2, I was just going to play d3 check and like knight c4, maybe even knight f3. Yeah, actually, king e2, d3, king d2, knight f3 already is a fork, and the king pawning will be winning. So instead, he moves the knight, but now I have this check, and I push the king all the way over, and then bring the knight back. I was very happy with this maneuver. So in this position, I want to be able to play king f3. So how do I get the king to f3? Well, I have to check the king away, check it away, and now if I go, I lose a pawn, so the knight comes back, and there's no way for the king or the knight to prevent me from coming to f3. He tries knight e1, but this allows the fork, and so this king pawn endgame is winning, and I win this game. So a very long game, but I think other than this I would call it a blunder with bishop takes a3, allowing b3. Even if that position is not problematic for me, which it might be, even if that's not problematic, it's definitely a positional blunder because I shouldn't allow this sort of play. So other than that move, though, I think it was pretty clean. Let's take a look. So I know this is all prep up until right here. And yeah, queen takes c4 is the way to punish this move, and queen b4. So now we have this position where I'm just a pawn up and I have compensation. Like he doesn't have compensation for the pawn. I'm actually the one who has the compensation. So knight bd2, knight h6 is a way to play. All the moves are pretty much the same at this point. Knight e7, knight d7. These are all the moves I was considering. I went with knight h6. But the point of this move was to play bishop e7, knight b3. I put the knight on f5, bishop d2. Yeah, c5 is good. Rook c1. I play knight d7. Also c4 I was considering as my alternative move. But knight d7, g3, rook b8 now. Yeah, so rook b8, I did look at this move. Rook b8. I just, because it does win the b2 pawn. Somehow I just didn't want to allow this knight to come to c6. But really, I'm going to be 2 pawns up in that position, and I should just go for that. So that was kind of silly. c4 is also a fine move, though. Knight c5, rook b8 here, rook c2. I play, yeah, I could play knight d3. I could also play castles. All these moves make sense. Knight a4 is not necessary. I think castles is what I would have do if this game happened again. Knight a4 is fine. And here I think this is a positional blunder. It might even throw away the whole advantage, which is completely winning. Does not throw away the advantage, but it is not, yeah, it's an inaccuracy. I would call it positional blunder. Here, though, maybe taking is throwing the game away. Yeah, rook a2 is strong, so there I have to play b2, knight c2. I probably am giving away a piece in this line, right? b2, knight c2, rook b3, or gives away a piece, yeah. Oh, but he can't take the piece. King g2. Oh, well, I'm attacking the knight. But yeah, king g2 just holds on to it, and now what do I do? It would just, yeah, here is where I give away the piece and play rook c8. So this is obviously not what I want at all from the completely dominant winning position I had right here in this position, and even more so here. Very luckily for me, my opponent just takes with the rook, which is the second best move, but it does give me a clean pawn advantage after knight b6, knight c4, and I guess bishop b4 keeping the dark square bishops is better than trading, but this position felt pretty good to me. So yeah, this position, I guess maybe it's holdable. I would have thought that it's borderline winning. I knew I still had to do some work, but it felt like I much more likely that I win than my opponent draws. So now I maneuver the knight around, knight d3, g6 move is good, and rook a3. So what does it think of this move? It doesn't think it's right to trade rooks, which is interesting because I thought that would be very helpful for me, but maybe with the reduced material, it's not so clear. Oh yeah, here I thought it was very important that my opponent move a knight so he can play f4. I thought that was the best way to hold, so this weakness isn't here, but maybe not. Now I get this move which binds the position. So yeah, we both bring our king. Is it right to bring the king over that way? I guess I can go through g7 and play f6 that way. But yeah, f6 here is the correct way to go. That's the correct plan. Takes. This is also move 40, so I just made time control, which is good because we were both a little bit low on time. Knight g5. I start to push the central pawns. It wants to play this move because, yeah, I knew that white cannot trade a pair of knights. The single knight endgame is much easier to win. But why can't we move this knight like somewhere? Oh, it hangs at the. Ugh, yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, yeah, that just forces it off a pair of knights, which is clearly easily winning. So that's sort of a miss, but e5 is fine. Knight h3, e4, and then d4. And this move I was very very happy to find. I think it's, yeah, it's the right, it's one of the moves. Knight e1. And yeah, this is the correct continuation. I couldn't find anything better, and you don't need to find anything better when this is -7. e3, takes, and king e4. Many moves win, but I was very, very happy with this continuation with knight g4, d3, and yeah, this is just winning. So yeah, pretty good game in round one. Definitely the big oversight was this b3 issue, allowing this counterplay with bishop takes a3. In this position, probably this is already like not necessary, because bishop c3, then I play knight a4, and then the whole thing is nonsense. So I should just start by castling, stacking rooks on the b file, and I'm just going to this knight is completely dominated. It can't even move. Yeah, so that would have been the better way to play. But other than that, it was a pretty clean game, and yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.